Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jacob Soboroff for Why Tuesday, coming to you literally right now behind me. You can see it on TV as Barack Obama introduces Joe Biden, the senator from Delaware, as his vice presidential running mate, which means now that both candidates on the Democratic ticket have responded to the Why Tuesday candidate challenge and discussed their plans for the state of the voting system and what they think we can do to increase voter participation. If you missed it, here's a quick look at Senator Obama's response. Hey, Senator. Jake Soboroff with Why Tuesday. How are you?
Good to see you.
You know the stats about the state of the voting system.
Absolutely.
The U.S. ranks 139th out of 172 countries, far behind many other countries in the world. What do you think the state of the system is? Can you talk to us about your election reform plan you're putting forward?
Well, a couple things. Number one, I think we have to make it easier to vote. And I'm assuming that Why Tuesday is in favor of, for example, having it on weekends so that more people can vote.
Okay, so Biden's obviously speaking right now. He was the first candidate to respond to our candidate challenge. I ran into him in the fall of 2007, literally at a cozy coffee shop in Washington, D.C. And first he didn't want to talk to me, but then he was nice enough to take the time to talk to me. The interesting thing is his position might be a little bit different from Senator Obama's. I'm going to play the whole thing with Senator Biden for you right now. Check it out. Quickly, the candidate challenge begins because I actually just ran into Senator Joe Biden at Cozy, this coffee shop here in Washington, D.C. Pretty unbelievable. So, our candidate challenge, we're asking all of the presidential candidates to outline for us in a video their plans for election reform. And, you may also want to address, what do you think about Tuesday voting? And do you think that, first of all, do you know why it is that we vote on Tuesday? And do you think that maybe there's a solution to that day? And then what else is your election reform plan?
Well, look, the bottom line, you want to reform the elections. I know you want me to talk about polling places and about registration and voting and Tuesdays. You want to reform elections. Support my total public financing of elections. The amount of money in these campaigns is obscene. We're talking about people raising $100 million in a primary. I proposed the 1974 total funding of all presidential elections as well as congressional elections. So you want to actually have an impact. Now the second piece you're talking about, which is what people usually mean by election reform, how are you going to keep it from us being able to be in a position where you can manipulate the machines, manipulate the records? The one way to do that is, I think we should pass a federal law mandating that the same machines with paper trails be mandatory for every federal election. That will be a multi-billion-dollar bill for the states, because the states will have to make a choice then. They will have to make a choice whether or not they have two machines. We can't mandate, as you know, state elections. We can't tell the state of Delaware or Ohio or Texas what machines and what method they use to vote in their state elections, but we can do it federally. So in a nutshell, I think we should be mandating that we have a paper ballot with a standardized machine, standardized requirements. Now, with regard to elections on Saturday or Tuesday, we've tried them both in our state. Guess what? Higher turnout on Tuesdays. Higher turnout on Tuesdays. People on their day off, because we have so, I think, demeaned the electoral process by money in the process. They're not showing up. You have over 50% of the people not showing up. It's a little bit like, when Memorial Day is held on the weekend versus being held on Tuesday. Sure. So my view is, I don't see any strong evidence that having Election Day on a weekend is going to increase turnout relative to Tuesday. That's not the reason why people aren't turning out.
Do you have an opinion about maybe making Election Day a national holiday? Tuesday Election Day a national holiday?
Well, again, I worry about making it a national holiday. A national holiday, people leave. You follow me? In other words, I've seen, if I saw any data to suggest that it would create a larger turnout, then I would strongly support that, whatever it took. But I think sometimes those of us in politics, and I've been engaged in election reform since I got here as a 29-year-old kid. And the irony is, that great phrase, you can't take two steps over a chasm. Well, we've been taking two steps in election reform. We end up getting in more trouble every time. And so I've not seen hard data, and I would support data that showed that based on the time and the day and the circumstance, meaning a holiday or not a holiday, it would increase electoral turnout. I don't think that's the reason why people aren't turning out.
Do you think it's something that the Congress should look into?
Oh yes, and they are. Senator Dodd's committee has done it. There's a lot of work being done in that regard, and most of us are worried about who owns the machines, who manufactures the machines, and the governor's ability. That's why I go back to the central premise. The central premise should be a standardized federal electoral process for federal officers, meaning the President, Vice President, House, and Senate. We don't have the authority under the Constitution. I suffer from being a constitutional law professor under separation of powers. We cannot dictate to the states what machines they use, but it would put a lot of pressure on them.
Joe Biden.
Thanks.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, man. I'm
Thank
glad
you,
you
sir.
caught up. And I'm glad we caught each other as I drink my snack.
Good to see you. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Hope
take care.
that's all right.
Yeah, it's great. Thanks, guys.
So there you have it, the response of the Democratic ticket to the Why Tuesday Candidate Challenge. Log on to whytuesday.org for more information, and we'll talk to you guys soon.